Alabama, Gonzaga. I mean, hello. RC, your eyes kind of lit up a little bit there.
Ah,
No? Have we not gotten to your most exciting game yet? Well, we have, but second one?
that was my first one. We still hadn't got to my next two, so I, I, I don't know. I think Alabama's really good. I think the world of them. I think they're as strong as any team I've seen so far. To be quite honest, I really think that they're that good. I think they're a Final Four team right now. So this will be a good test for those guys. But I see no reason for me to jump off their bandwagon. And maybe something happens later in the year. If they stay healthy, like I said, I plan on seeing them in Houston. That's just
They're
what I think about them.
they're crazy deep. Like
Oh my gosh.
Dom Welch hasn't played yet, like a career 40% 3-point shooter on the wing from
Just
St.
depth
Bonaventure.
all over, shooting, depth,
Yep.
length, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Freshman coming in playing great. With obviously Brandon Miller. I mean, Quinterly just, hey coach, bring me off the bench, let him play. The culture there again. I think right now outside of Purdue, they've been as impressive as anybody that I've seen so far. And again, for me, I would push my money to the table seeing them in Houston, provided they're healthy.
The one team that I would add to that is UConn, the team that beat them by 15. I think they've been a little more impressive than Alabama, but like Alabama's a top 3 to 5 team maybe so far. Riley Davis just wrote something that he checked about their freshmen that are not Brandon Miller, like Noah Clowney, Jaden Bradley, how good those guys have been. I've been shocked at how fully formed they seem. Like their roles seem fairly well set for a team with a lot of young freshmen stepping in. That has really impressed me. And you mentioned Quinterly, like he's back to the role from 2 years ago when they were a 2 seed of you come in and spark things and create, but you don't have to be the guy all the time. And that I think really sets him up better for how he plays. They're awesome defensively too, like they were 2 years ago. Yeah, super impressed with Alabama. It's tough to go into Houston and win, and they did it.
Alabama's battle tested too. I mean, look, they've played Michigan State, UConn, UNC, one at Houston, which that game was fantastic throughout that whole entire stretch. So for a team to start out and maybe like drop a couple, I mean, lose by 15 to UConn, but then to like turn around and be able to continue building, getting that chemistry going, putting it together, they're in fantastic shape right now for December. I mean, RC, if you're Coach Oates, you're feeling really good about where you're at right now.
He's not going to say that because he got a bunch of young guys. So he's going. I think
it.
he wanted that UConn loss to kind of let these guys know. But to see Jay Bradley come in and be in that Houston game, he was the best player on the floor down the stretch. Mm-hmm. Like, say what you want, he was the freshman backup point guard at the time. Was the best player on the floor, making plays, making winning plays for them. And I think just the depth of that team again. He has all the motivational tools he wants, but I guarantee you he's going to bed happy at night thinking like, damn, we're pretty damn good. I know he's going to bed like, I ain't got to worry about this. Because the great thing about having dudes, he got dudes. So the great thing about having them is when one guy ain't playing, I sit down. Like there's so much, can you imagine in practices, there is no complacency because everybody's got somebody, you don't want to play, like, go sit down. There you go. And I think that's just, when you have that, there's not, and that's the difference when I said we can talk about all these top teams. How many teams can we really say? Maybe UConn, but outside of those two teams, how many teams has guys where they can be like, hey, you know what, you ain't playing, sit down. And I don't mean just do it. Coaches will do it, but they really is one of those sit down, but sit next to me right here so I can hurry and put you back in 30 seconds in the game after I give you this fake chewing out. They got bodies. So I'm just a big fan of it.
Game.
Yeah.
It's gonna, you know how that is, man. The coach will take you out and give you that fake little cussing out, and then you're sitting right there by the third.
Yeah, they're like, I go back in.
Yeah, no, you're going right back in the game. Like you catch your breath, you ready? You go back in. I'm not talking about that.
It's like I'm disappointed in you, and you're like,
yeah. Come on, I gotta fake yell at you in front of everybody. Man, get back in there.
Get back in there.
We're not dealing with that.
Well, I'm just gonna go out here and say, is Nate Oates the best dressed coach in college basketball?
When he wears the plaid jacket, he is. When he wears the plaid one.
Stop it.
I just want to know how many blazers. I want to know how many red blazers this man owns. Yeah. That's the type of investigative reporting I want to see.
Well, it's
Hey,
it's an
Jim, that's up your
empty.
line, man. What's the analytics on that? What do you got?
Yeah, Jim, what
What's the
you got
chances?
for us?
If you had to guess, man, how many jackets you got?
He's got to have at least 10 of just maroon and shades of maroon and plaid, like
The
I like
game
coats and the tie, he
jackets.
got-
Got some like tweeds ones too. They're
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Very nice.
it's a vacant throne right now with Jay Wright retired, right? The best dressed coach in the country.
I mean,
Who knows?
Mr.
It's up.
GQ's gone.
It's up.
Yep.
It's up for
Yep.
negotiation right now.
He's gonna step up. On the flip side, Gonzaga, coming into this game, what are you expecting? I know you guys are high on Alabama, but I mean, this can still very much be a tight race.
It won't be if they don't get the ball inside. That's the only thing I got to say about them. If we've watched them play enough against really good opponents, Alabama has the length, and we talked about the depth to bother them. If they don't get the ball inside to the big fella, then there's nothing else to talk about for long stretches. I mean, we've watched him play, and it's been with Drew Timme, he hadn't touched the ball in long stretches. And if that happens again in this game, then it'll be another L.
That's the tough part too, though. If you go inside, Alabama's interior defense is for real. Like it's not just okay. He's got a 6'8" guy guarding him. He can make a move on and score. He's going to go through a little bit of a war here against Bediako and Noah Clowney. Those guys have been really, really good defensively so far. But it has been kind of as Drew Timme goes, Gonzaga goes, that they probably lose at home to Kent State if he doesn't go nuts down the stretch. They were losing late, and he kind of put the team on his back completely. They're still figuring everything out beyond him, which is weird because they only lost 2 guys from last year, but they're 2 super important ones. And they're still figuring out pecking order. That's why, I'm so impressed by Alabama. They've figured all that stuff out already, and it seems like Gonzaga is still sorting through all those issues.
Gonzaga is another team that played a tough non-conference schedule, but still is sorting out, right? But Alabama, on the flip side, has figured it out. Are they the best team in the SEC?
I thought so. I said that before. I told you I got my bags. I'm pushing my chips in on them at Houston.
He's moving to Birmingham.
If they healthy, then I've got my bags back. I'm betting on those guys. They're one of the few teams right now that just off of their depth of their team and outside everything, shooting it all. I'm betting on them.
I'll probably rank them first, but the other 2 we're going to probably talk about very shortly here with 2 of the other big time matchups that are on tomorrow's slate.